Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Economics. How is everybody doing? I hope you all are doing good. Today I brought for you all May June 2025 9708 variant 44. We'll be doing paper 4 today, section A. Let's see what this case study is all about. Then we'll look at the questions. All right, now the case study talks about Bangladesh, and the sector they are talking about is the ready made garments. And they have given us a scenario of how the ready-made garments industry in Bangladesh has developed over time. Now, the case study begins with 1971. Now, they say Bangladesh has experienced significant economic development, moving from low income to the lower middle income country classification. And then they say that the GNI per capita at constant 2017 prices into US dollars, it rose from 2,342 to 5,823 between 2000 and 2020. That means over the span of 20 years, there has been a significant improvement in its GN, gross national income, GNI. Then they say that the country's HDI also rose from 0.49 to 0.66. That means there was also a significant improvement in Human Development Index, which also improved from 0.49 to 0.66. So these are two positive developments. Over the same period, Bangladesh went considerable changes in its unemployment from being highly involved in the agriculture sector, it moved towards manufacturing and the services sector. That means it moved from primary to secondary and tertiary sector. Next, they say first in agriculture, output rose by more than 100%, while employment fell from 65 to 38 of the working population. Now, although they say that the employment fell from 65 to 38%, however, the output still rose. This change was by the innovation in crop irrigation, land preparation, and harvesting that was aided by the development of local industries to provide the capital equipment needed. So, now what happened? That the productivity of the farm output rose primarily because of the significant changes, the farm developments, the improvement in the usage of technology, and the usage of more capital rather than labor that caused farm output to rise although employment level was declining. A second source of economic development was a source in the growth of the clothing industry, producing ready-made garments that contributed about 11% of Bangladesh's GDP and employed 4.4 million workers, out of which 2.5 were women. So now, besides a prominent growth in the agriculture sector, one thing to be noticed was the improvement in the ready-made garment sector, in which women became a part of the labor force. Plus, they say that it contributed to 11% of the GDP and 4.4 million workers were employed, out of which 2.5, that means nearly half of the population, working population that was involved in this sector, comprised of females. The industry uses significant division of labor with production split into 10 or more processes. That means it makes use of division of labor, makes use of specialization, and it has broken down the production process into simplified tasks such as cutting, sewing zips, assembly, and packaging. The value of the raw materials imported for the raw material for the ready-made garment industry was about half of the value of the industry's exports. That means that this industry was highly dependent upon the imported raw materials, and net exports contributed to $23 billion. This caused Bangladesh to import a wider range of goods and services and also enabled it to reduce the deficit on its balance of trade. In 2020, there were 4,000 ready-made garment manufacturers, differentiated by the quality of their products and the speed of the delivery. The ready-made garments industry supplied to 100 major US and European retailers. That means it was heavily invested in the international trade. But the ready-made garment industry has critics who say that air and water pollution from the chemicals used in cotton growing and manufacturing clothes is a disadvantage. They also accuse the industry of employing child labor and having poorly constructed factories. So now they say though the ready-made garment industries has made a significant improvement, but these are the negative externalities or these are the costs that the society has to bear in the form of development. Now, let's look at the questions. The first question, part A, it's about 3 marks. And what are they asking? Identify. And notice the key term, the command word over here is identify what is included in HDI. So first we'll go about explaining what is HDI, and then we'll talk about the three components that make up the HDI, and we'll straight away get 3 marks. Now let's look at the answer. I'll zoom in the answer for you. All right. The first part says what is included in the HDI, and we know that Human Development Index talks about 3 parts. One is so the first part talked about what was included in HDI. So we know HDI is a measure of a country's level of development, right? It measures the country's level of development, and 3 key indicators it uses is the first one is health, then it talks about education, then it talks about income, and when it talks about health, it uses life expectancy at birth. When we talk about education, we talk about expected years and the mean years of schooling. And when we talk about income, we use GNP per capita, right? So we'll write this in the answer and we'll get straight 3 marks. Now, part B says the passage states that the ready-made garment industry uses significant division of labor. Now, you have to explain how this will affect the average cost of firms in Bangladesh's ready-made garments industry. So now, how do you think would division of labor be contributing towards the reduction in the average cost, specifically in the ready-made garment industry? So first we'll talk about explaining division of labor. So we'll say that division of labor is a manufacturing process which is split into a sequence of individual tasks. For instance, over here, the ready-made garment industry employed division of labor and the individual tasks were broken down into, let's say, sewing zips, cutting the fabric, assembling the garments, packaging, etc. Now, this specialization enabled workers to enhance their skills by specifically focusing on a specific part of the production process, thereby increasing the efficiency, increasing the overall labor productivity. That means they were producing more output in the same amount of time, more output per unit of labor. That enabled the average cost to reduce. This means that the production was relatively cheaper, right? So you've written that, straight 3 marks. Part C. Part C says identify the probable market structure of the ready-made garment industry. That means what sort of a market structure or the level of competition that was there helps you identify what market structure does the ready-made garment industry follows. Plus, you've got to use diagrams to show the likely effect on the long run profit of firms working in the ready-made garment industry. So now we know how many firms were there? 4,000. And they were doing what? They were producing goods that were differentiated. So when goods are differentiated and there are many producers, what sort of market structure is that? Yes, that's correct. That's monopolistic competition, right? And what makes you say that? So we are going to say that the Bangladesh ready-made garment industry followed the monopolistic competition, or you could say monopolistic competition was a situation prevalent in the ready-made garment industry in Bangladesh. Why? Because there were more than 4,000 manufacturers who competed on differentiated products. There were many buyers and sellers, and they competed on the speed and the quality of their delivery. Right? So these were the key aspects, right? Now, you got to produce diagrams. So now notice I have the diagram on the left talks about the short run scenario, the monopolistic competition, and the diagram towards the right shows the long run scenario. So now, if you look at both the situations, what's happening that in the short run, the firms are maximizing their profits and they are making supernormal profits, right? So the region in yellow shows what? That the firms are enjoying supernormal profits. But then what happened over time? This profit would be competed away because firms would be attracted towards the normal profit and the supernormal profit, and they would enter into this industry. And as a result, what would happen that this supernormal profit would be wiped off, such that it would cause the demand curve to shift to the left, right? And then what happened that it will keep on continuing unless all the firms are only making normal profit, right? So you could see over here that we are producing the output level Q, right? P1 is the price, and what is happening over here that the firms are enjoying only normal profit, right? Firms are enjoying only normal profit because over here the firms were enjoying supernormal profit, but now since the demand fell, the firms are only making normal profit. So both, but you will see that both in the short run and the long run, the profits, the firms are inefficient. Why? Because they are operating above the minimum point of average total cost. You see, this was the optimum level. Why? Because this was the point at which ATC is minimum. But you could see that in both the situation in the short and the long run, the firms are operating at a point above this, right? See over here, they are operating at this average total cost. Over here, they are operating at this average total cost. So they are above the average total cost in both the scenarios. They are inefficient and they got excess capacity. All right. So we've done that and we'll get straight 6 marks. Last part of this case study. Now, they say with reference to the article, assess whether there is enough evidence to conclude that the living standards in Bangladesh have improved since 1971. So now you've got to tell that whether living standards in Bangladesh over the period from 1971 till 2020 has they improved or not? And if they have, what makes you say that? Or if they do not have, you're going to produce an argument, a valid discussion stating whether or not the living standards have improved. So now, you see, when we are talking about living standards, we are talking about how or to what level people have witnessed an increase in their purchasing power, or you could say that the disparity in incomes have reduced, the healthcare has improved, and there has been significant rise in the living standards of people, right? So, what makes you say that maybe living standards have improved in Bangladesh? We would say that yes, Bangladesh has witnessed a significant improvement in its standard of living over the period because GNP per capita rose from 2,342 to 5,823, right? This was approximately 149% improvement. That means its purchasing power rose and overall the average income increased. Also, the HDI improved from 0.49 to 0.66. And we know that HDI is a measure of health, education, and income, right? So this means when HDI improves, that overall the level or the welfare of humans have improved, right? So the population has witnessed an improvement in their welfare. Third, we could say that the agriculture witnessed an increase in productivity, the agriculture sector, right? And it contributed significantly towards the GDP, right? Although employment in agriculture fell, yet agriculture witnessed an improvement in its productivity, right? Mainly because of the technological advancements in its production processes and the use of more capital. Plus, we could also say that there was significant growth of the manufacturing sector that was contributed by the ready-made garments industry that comprised about 11 contributed about 11% of GDP, and it employed 4.4 million workers, including females, right? Plus, we could say that Bangladesh also showed significant signs of better trade performance. Net exports were about $23 billion. This means it enabled Bangladesh government to import a variety of goods. As a result, its balance of payment deficit fell and there was a significant improvement in its standard of living. However, there were evidences that the ready-made garment industry improved or contributed, but towards negative externalities as well. The level of air and water pollution worsened, and there was significant pollution, right? Plus, they employed child labor. And it was also being said that the factories were in a poor condition, right? So, unsafe or risky environment was provided to the labor. So, what would be the conclusion? That the conclusion would be that it cannot be definitely concluded that standard of living have improved overall, since indicators such as education standards or income inequality or the crime rate or healthcare, environment quality, housing conditions, these details are not provided in the case study. So concretely or conclusively, it cannot be said that yes, there has been improvement in the living standards. Chances are that there could be, but not entirely, right? Not because these statistics of the indicators that I just mentioned, the information is not fully provided, right? I hope you understood and enjoyed solving this paper with me. Stay tuned, subscribe. I'll be back with more such questions for you. Happy learning.